So Donald Trump has been having a bit of a meltdown recently as all the scandals surrounding him continue to mount. But of course, the thing on the front of his mind is the document scandal. So over the last couple of weeks, Donald Trump has been out there telling us that, listen, every other president, everybody who held that office, they were doing some really, truly horrible things with their documents. He told us this past weekend that George H.W. Bush actually stored a bunch of classified documents in a Chinese restaurant that sat atop a bowling alley. He said Barack Obama had kept them somewhere in Chicago, just a building in Chicago, just stuck them there. So why are we coming after him, right? What's so bad about having them in Mar-a-Lago when all these other presidents were keeping them in restaurants and random buildings, totally unsafe? He, according to Trump, by the way, the Chinese restaurant didn't even have a door. Because that's totally believable, right? Like, we've all seen restaurants here in the United States that have literally no door. They just shut down at the end of the night, hope nobody breaks in, steals all the equipment and food. Yeah, totally believable. No, of course it is not. In fact, it's so unbelievable that the National Archives has now had to come out and correct the record so that these crazed Trump supporters stop repeating his stupid lies. So the National Archives came out and said this. Reports that indicate or imply that those presidential records were in the possession of the former presidents or their representatives after they left office, or that the records were housed in substandard conditions, are false and misleading. NARA securely moved these records to temporary facilities that NARA leased from the General Services Administration near the locations of the future presidential libraries that former presidents built for NARA. So to put it in other words, the National Archives said, listen, we had documents in buildings. That part is true. Were they stored in Chinese restaurants that didn't have doors? No. They were stored in buildings that we, the National Archives, rented and paid for. So technically, by definition, those were our facilities. Barack Obama did not move the documents there. George H.W. Bush did not move the documents there themselves. They filled out the paperwork to get the documents. The paperwork was approved. So we, National Archives, took the documents, rented a place to put them until the presidential libraries were finished. We stored them there securely. Then, when the presidential libraries were done, we got the documents, we took them to the presidential libraries, and we were done. Because that's how this works. But don't tell that to a Trump supporter, right? They want to think that that we had former presidents hiding them in Chinese restaurants, hiding them in bowling alleys, hiding them in whatever place we could find an open door and said, hey, you didn't lock your door, I'm going to store some classified documents here. That's not how it works. But of course, Donald Trump wants his idiot base to think that's how it works so that they'll be more and more outraged if he ends up being criminally charged. That's what's happening here. He's trying to make it seem like everybody else did this and they're only picking on me. Because if he can make his base think that, he knows they'll do something incredibly stupid if he ever gets charged. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you saw, don't forget to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to our Ring of Fire channel here.